When you get the carrier, it will be disassembled like this. Inside will be this bag has the nuts and bolts that you will use to put it together. This bag contains, the big Ziploc. It contains the paperwork that came with it, as well as some extra bolts and nuts. So you want to keep this in a safe place in case any of these ever get stripped out or lost or whatever. Alright, so you also have the luggage belt, and the bed that I've included. Whoops. Alright, this is the front door. This is the bottom. And this is the top with the built-in door. Okay, I'm going to see if I can do this now with one hand. Show you. Get started. Alright. Put the bottom down first. Then the top sets kind of into the bottom. Actually sets on the bottom, but there's a little lip on the bottom that where it looks like it's set into it. Before you do anything else, you put the door in. Now this door can go either way. Depends on if you like it to open from left to right or from right to left. I pretty much always prefer right to left. So make sure the lock portion is on the right side if you want to do it right to left. Put the bottom of the rod in that hole right there, and put the top in this hole right here. Let's see. This hole right here. Not this hole. This hole. Then you can go ahead and close it if you want. Now, get out the bolts. I gotta lay this down. Alright. On almost all of my carriers, I put the bolt in through the bottom and put the wing nut on top. But in this carrier, it's too difficult to do that because the bolt has I don't know how to focus this, but the bolt has a little square right up here under the head. It's right, let's see, I don't even know how to do this. Well, that's not the way. Let me set it down and see if I can do it that way. Yeah, you can see it a little better. See, there's a little square indentation right up here. And these holes are pretty square. So you have to line up the square of the nut of the bolt with that square hole, or else it's going to be It's not going to be flush. You can see it sitting up like that. That's as far as it goes unless you line it up right. So you turn it just a little bit until it's flush. Then you just screw this on. I don't know if I see it or not. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. So you just snug that up. And you do that with all 9 of them. This is one of the ones I had to ream out myself. One of the reasons I had it shipped here because of all the complaints about that. But do all 9 of those. Put your luggage strap on if you choose to use it. Put the bed in. And it's good to go. Now let me tell you something on these bolts and nuts. Tighten them by hand only. And only until they're fairly snug. Do not let anybody with a heavy hand tighten those because, well, they strip easy. So, and don't use pliers or anything to tighten them. Just tighten them with your fingers till they quit turning, but no tighter than that. There was something else I wanted to say about those nuts and bolts. Like I said, there's a bag of extras in there, and some of I think all of the bolts, the extra bolts, are the right size, but some of the wing nuts may be stripped out. I think that's why they put so many in this bag of extras. Just because there were so many complaints about the hardware not being right. So this little bag inside this big bag is just the extras that doesn't need to come out for any reason. Anyhow, in the instructions are inside this sheet here. It shows putting the bolts from the top and the nuts from the bottom, just like I have here. But in the picture that's included in there, in a tag that was on the outside of the kennel, it shows the nuts on top and the bolts coming up through the bottom. I talked to PetMate about that, and they said that's just a personal preference. Do it however you want. But if these were normal round bolts that were round all the way up, I'd go from the bottom with the bolts and put the nuts on top. But because it is difficult to find the square part underneath, that's why I put them on top. So if you happen to want to do it from the bottom, that's okay, but you've got to make sure that the head of the bolt is flush with the underside. I think it's better just to leave it like this. So, okay, if you have any questions, give me a call. Bye.